Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Suicide for Beginners. And this is a new horror comedy from director Craig Thieman, focusing on Garrett, played by Will Daniels, who is a man who loves this woman and realizes she's never really going to connect with him. He plans on committing suicide and then winds up becoming a mass murderer instead, because why the hell not, and what the hell is this movie? Right off the bat, I can say at least there's a few really pulpy and crazy and bonkers murder sequences, especially when Garrett finds himself outside and having to try to cover up a whole bunch of series of unfortunate events that he triggers. And then it's like, kill this one person, somebody witnessed that, have to kill that person, somebody witnessed that, they have to kill that person. And you get on this crazy ride of slow-mo and just crazy filmmaking out there. And this is the kind of film where it's just like, there's definitely a lot going on in this film. And one other particular thing that kind of stuck out to me is like the film does a fine job of keeping surprising you in one particular aspect in terms of where some of these balancing threads might be coming from and how they all fit together, because you do have this young boy set up who really wants to, do a lot of kinds of things, and he winds up, as it might appear, growing up into Garrett's character, by William Daniels' character Garrett, but maybe not. There's some mystery there. That's about all the intrigue you're going to get out of this, because this film turns out to be loads of really uninspired, just bad pickup lines, and just something where it's just like, the world's about to end, but let's try to improve our dating life and stuff like that. But people don't want to be alone. And you get to see this film and the horrible messages behind it and where this film's going. It's like this young man is troubled and wants to commit suicide, but then decides he's going to start murdering a whole bunch of people instead, because that is the perfect reason to do that and the best response possible, right? Horribly sarcastic here, just to let you know. But this film, I feel like, is all the lowest brow humor. Every single character is written with no brain and is a complete moron in terms of processing, being filmed, and the horribly poignant and sensitive themes that this film takes on. I feel like this film is so unabashedly a hot mess that, you don't really feel like you get much out of it, and it really fails the greater scheme of what could possibly be around this story, but especially in the center, the emotions and everything like that. You don't feel for these characters because they're just so dumb. You don't really feel any connection to any of these characters, and it becomes like, how many of these kinds of things can you sit through without it being too much? And something like Cop Shop that came out last year had Jared Butler, and absolutely love, brought a lot of gravitas to that film. This just kind of throws it out there, has some talent behind it, but realistically, it has just, this film has no redeeming characters, lacks depth to these characters and their actions, because so many of those actions are completely moronic and idiotic. And it takes all the enjoyment out of this film that could potentially have some really solid progression from here. But really, you have a whole bunch of actors as well that feel very amateurish and don't really sell their lines particularly well, despite the fact, not gonna lie, most of their lines are pretty terrible. But this film is just a big hot mess. It only had a few sequences of some thrilling action sequences that have some gravity to this greater story and what it means for our characters in this film. But this is just a hot mess. It's unfunny and really plays a dangerous game with the concepts of suicide that it's playing with. But those are my thoughts on Suicide for Beginners. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.